Hi, my name is John Jai. Welcome to Salesforce Auto Series. And today we are beginning a series on how to integrate from Salesforce, okay, to other platforms. As you can see behind me today, we are actually integrating from Salesforce, okay, to Square. We are integrating from Salesforce, okay, to Square. Okay, and then that's what I'm going to be doing today. And then let me just quickly say that this will be on a series. Okay, so I don't want the video to be too long. So I've been making the video about 30 minutes long, okay, until we finish the series on how to integrate from Salesforce to Square. And after we have done that, then we can go to other platform and integrate as many as possible as we can actually do. All right, so I'll be going off camera right now so you can actually see uh the the I can present effectively and you can see the screen effectively. Okay, so let's actually go. So let me present right now for you to be able to see. All right, so like I mentioned, we're actually integrating from Salesforce to Square with this particular series. And as we go along, we actually be integrating with other platform as we move along. Okay, so basically right now, I've done some groundwork so that we will not waste time. Okay, but basically, all you need to do, okay, if you're not familiar with Square, is for you to actually go to square up.com. Okay, go to Square, okay, register with them, that is sign up with the with Square. Okay, Square will actually give you a dashboard like this. Will give you a dashboard like this. Once you sign up, you must verify your email. Okay, you can put your phone number and things like that. After you must have done all that, then you go to developersquareup.com. Go to developersquareup.com, and when you do that, it brings you here. Then it allow you to actually register an app. Can actually register an app at developersquareup.com. You have to register an app. You have to name it. For me, I've named this Salesforce One. You can give it any name, or at least let it resonate with what it is that you're actually doing. Okay, and then when you're registering, okay, uh, it will default to Sandbox. It will default to Sandbox once your app has been registered. Please follow this along effectively so you will not have issues when you are trying to integrate with this platform from Salesforce. Okay, so it will default to Sandbox, like I mentioned. All right, so but you need to, after you must have done your credential, which is here. Okay, after you must have done your credentials, then you go to OAuth. You go to OAuth. This is your credential right now. All right. So like I mentioned, this is the credential. Okay, you register your app. It gives you your uh, the app ID and then app access token and things like that. All right. But because you need to integrate, you have to, when you go to the OAuth, okay, when you get to the OAuth, okay, uh, my network is a bit slow. Just give it time. Okay, so when you get to the OAuth, okay, please do this. Try as much as possible to switch to production. Okay, because that is how you can actually build your app, and other um tools like Salesforce, okay, will actually be able to see your app. Okay, please don't forget to do that. All right, so after you must have done that, of course, you go to your to give you your production ID and then your production secret key. All right. So then you go to your Salesforce. Of course, you go to your Salesforce. All right. So when you get to your Salesforce, I've already done this. Go to custom metadata. I did this so that we not actually be wasting time on this. I expect this not to be for the beginners. This is supposed to be for intermediate uh, Salesforce professionals. Okay, but if you are just beginning, it's not a big deal. Okay, just go to home, type custom metadata, then custom metadata type. All right. So after you must have done that, then create a custom metadata type. You can give it any name. For me, I gave it square config. Okay, I give it square config. Then after you must have done that, let me just go back so you can actually see what I did. Okay, I gave it square config. You can give it any name, it does not matter. So after you must have done that, then go to manage records. Go to manage records. Okay, before you do that, let me go back a bit again. Before you actually go to manage record, okay, let me click my square config because I've actually been able to create some fields. So you come here, come to custom fields, and you create your fields. Okay, for me, I gave names to this field as access token. Please can just follow along with the naming convention that I did. Okay, so that you not have issues when you are trying to follow along with this video. All right, so basically what I did is I created an access token. It's a long text area. I will explain what they do as I code along. All right. So and then also I did client ID. So this is the client ID that's the application ID that you have from here. All right. That's the application ID that you have from here. All right. So and then I did uh client secret, which is the secret key that you have from your application that you built on Square. Then according to documentation, if you want to actually access customer from Square, if you want to access customer record from Square, you actually need a customer URL, and I will show you what that is. Okay, according to documentation from Square, and then you need to access payment, you need a particular URL as well. So I've created that also in the custom metadata. And then you will actually need a redirect URI, and I'm going to show you that also on Square as created. And then you are going to need a refresh token. Okay, I'm going to need the token endpoint, also a URL. The access token and refresh token are the things that will be generated for you when you have been able to build your uh, OAuth, uh, more or less like a webhook. Okay, but it's going to be a controller on our own side in Salesforce. Okay, so we're going to actually need that. All right, so let's go back to our Square. Okay, so in the redirect URI that I actually built earlier, I showed you on on Salesforce here. Okay, what you need to do with that is just make sure that you actually copy your URI here. Okay. However, because when you actually comes to set up, okay, Salesforce changes the name of your URL. Okay. So what you need to do for you to get your URL is just go to your developer console. Okay, developer console, and try to copy from here from here down to the .com, and when you get to Square, okay, just put it there, then slash apex. It's gonna be a Visualforce page, because that's why it is slash apex square slash square old callback page. Okay, you can give it any name, but for me, I've decided to give my Apex, my Visualforce page, Square OAuth callback page. That's the name I gave it to. That's the name I gave to it, or I'll be giving to it as we code along. Okay. You can actually give it any name. All right. So having done that, having done all that, all those prerequisites, then let us now actually start coding for us to see what we actually need to do. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do basically is for us to try and create, and we are going to try and can give it any name. All right, let's call it Square OAuth controller. Okay, and then after we must have done that, for it to actually be able to connect with your with the Apex page, that is the Visualforce page, and then of course with the other so you'll be able to talk to the other tools that you want to use it for, which is our Square. You need to annotate it with at remote action. At remote action. You need to annotate with at remote action. Okay, after you must have done that, then you can now build your method. So let's call it public static string. Okay, so what is it that your method is going to be doing? Okay, that will actually give an idea of what you are going to actually call the method. Okay, so basically our method, what you want to do, you want to serve as a callback. Okay, you want to serve as a callback for our Square integration. So we can just call it and say it's going to do OAuth callback. Okay, that's what it's going to do OAuth callback. All right, so then let's put parameters there. It's going to be strange, and it's going to be code. Okay, that be the name of our parameter. Okay, so uh, and like I always tell my students, let us try as much as possible whenever you're building anything. Okay, that is going to actually fetch. Okay, try as much as possible um to put a null check, okay, or for you to know if it's going to be empty or not. Okay, it's very, very important. So you can say if a strange code, okay, is empty, okay, if our code, all right, is empty, then do something, okay, then do something, okay. So what is it going to do? You can say that it should return. What should return? You can say it's going to be a message. Okay, you can actually say that it should actually return things like saying error, authorization code is missing. Okay, the authorization code is actually missing. If it is missing, definitely there is no way we can actually do that. And of course, at the end of it, you have to put your semicolon. Okay, so after you must have done that, then let us now try as much as possible to fetch uh the parameters, I mean the values that we actually put in our that we put in our custom metadata. The parameter that we put in our custom metadata. And what is the name of our custom metadata? It is called Square config. And of course, you know, definitely that when you are actually building anything, okay, you use the API name, right? Use the API name. So you can actually call this, initialize it with a name that says config. You can call it any name. All right. So it's going to be equals to get config. Get config. This is a method that we're building. Okay. All right. So we are going to now say that the all the fields that we actually built in there, okay, in our metadata, okay, we want to actually put them in right now. So basically, what we have built. Let's go there, okay, so you can actually see what you have actually built. What you have built client ID, you have built secret ID. Okay, we have actually built the redirect URI. Okay, and then we have actually been able to build the token endpoints. Okay, all these already have values. They already have values. So you go to manage Square, go back here. Slow. So you can see that our client ID already have values, client secret have values, the direct URL already have the value that we want to use, and of course the token endpoint have the value that we want to use. So we're going to be using them in our controller right now. So let's say we want to pick the client ID first, and I told you you have to pick the API name. So you say string, you can call it client ID. Should be the client ID that we have here. And of course, it's going to be conv dot client ID. Okay, let's repeat this step 4 times. 1, 2. All right, so the next one will now be our client secrets. Okay, we have client secrets, and of course, it's going to be the client secret that we have here. Then the next one will be the redirect URL. The redirect URL. Okay, and then we also have it here. And the last one will be the token endpoint. It's going to be the token endpoint. And of course, we already have it here also. All right, so now that we have been able to build this, let's now try as much as possible to build this to see it effectively. All right, so let's now try as much as possible to build the strange body, okay, of what we are actually sending out to the what we are sending out to Square. What we are sending out to Square. All right, so basically, let's be the string body. Say strange body is going to be equals to, okay, it's going to be a string. Of course, you know that. So say the client ID that we actually uh built, we are going to be using it. Okay. However, if you go to if you go here, you realize that this is actually the postman for Square. Okay, and if you go here, you realize that there's a need for us to actually build send the string like this so that it can actually Square can actually see it. Okay, Square actually see the way it is. So on our own side, our API, of course, is this. Okay, but on their own, on the side of Square, the API name for client ID, API name for client ID is this. Okay, so you have to actually pick their own. They are using their own as what you actually are using. Okay, so you can go back here and say the client ID is like this. Okay, and then of course it's going to be equals to our own client ID that we have actually built. Okay, I hope you are following. It's going to be equals to our own client ID that we have actually built. Okay, and then what are the things that we need to send again? We need to send the client secrets. We need to send the client secrets. And of course, the client secret is already here also. Okay, the client secret is okay, it's not here, but the way client secret is spelled also. According to the documentation, you will find everything there, and I will try and drop documentation for you at the end of this video today. All right, so the client secret also is like this, say secrets. Okay, that's the way their own API is written. All right, that's the way their own API is written. And of course, it's going to be what? It's going to be the client secret that we have actually built, which is this. Okay, and then of course, we actually going to need the code. According to documentation, we are going to need the code, but the code is not here. All right, so actually supposed to be in let me duplicate this. Okay, response type code. Of course, code is a response type is code. Okay, everything is in the documentation I'll be sending along. Okay, so basically we need the code as well. So you say plus the code. Supposed to put a plus sign here also. Plus the code. Okay, and one thing that is supposed to actually put is the fact that we need to put all right, Sophie, I'm doing recording now. Don't disturb me, okay? What where are you doing? Fantastic. Sophie, I want to go back now. All right, so you need to put and here, and of course put and here as well. Okay, so the code will actually be equals to it's gonna say code. It's gonna say code. All right, so you don't have to build that, just to say code. All right, so after then actually do another thing, which is going to be grant type. It's going to be grant type. Okay, and then it's also in the documentation that I'm sending to you. So it's going to be actually grant type. So let's say grant type comes like this. Okay, and what is grant type is going to be is going to actually be equals to authorization code. This is the way it is in the documentation authorization code. All right, so So I must have done that. Then the next thing for you to actually put, okay, the next for you to actually put is the redirect URI. The redirect URI. Okay, so say plus the redirect URI, and it comes like this. Redirect URI. Okay. And of course, the redirect URI is going to be equals to encoding, encoding, okay, util dot URL code. Then the redirect URI that we actually built earlier, which is here, okay, copy it the way we actually built it here, and we'll put it here, and it's going to be UTF-8, TF-8, okay, maybe TF-8, of course. So that is the end of our string body. That's the end of our string body that's been built right now. Okay. All right. So now that our string body has been built, so basically what we need next is for us to then make the call out. To make the call out, so it's going to be H, of course, for a developer in Salesforce, you already know this. Okay. You can represent this with rec or request, whichever one that you want. You can just simply say resc equals new, of course, new HTTP. So the rec that we have actually built right now can now call the method of set endpoint. Set endpoint we are going to be calling will be the token endpoint that we built here. The token endpoint that we built here. Okay. So that we're going to be calling. Okay. And then also afterward, we are going to actually call the rec set point. Set method. I'm going to call the set method, and of course, it's going to be what is the method that we are going to use to make a call out. Okay, that's what we are talking about here. Of course, it's going to be post because we're actually getting the auth. Okay, it's going to be post. All right, and then afterward, we also need to get the request. Okay, that's what it means. The request set header. Okay, the request set header. Okay, so what is the set header? What was supposed to be? What are they actually? What is Square actually expecting? Okay, so basically that's what we are saying here, and I think our set header is here. Okay, then put it here as well. Actually, it's supposed to be somewhere here. Okay. Okay, so the set header that is expected for us to actually send, okay, is called content type. It's actually content type. Okay, and normally supposed to actually be application slash x. Coded, purely encoded. Okay, just like we have here, XW form purely encoded. So definitely that's what we are actually we're supposed to actually send to Square. Okay, and that is what we're actually sending to Square. Okay, so after our set header have actually been configured, then we need to set uh, the request body. So the request body, set body, is what we have already built up there. What we have built here. Okay, that's the request body we are sending out. Already built it, so you can just reference it and say body. Okay, basically that's what we are actually sending. Okay, so then we can now actually build our response also. When we send something out, of course, the response. So what is going to be response? You can call it HTTP, you can call it anything anyway. Okay, so you can call it anything. Course new HTTP. Okay, this is standard with Salesforce. You can check the documentation of Salesforce professional. I don't need to send you that. Okay, so you can say HTTP response. Okay, you can call it res like we did earlier with our request. We call it rec. So you can call this res is equals to HTTP. Sorry, typo HTTP. Okay, dot send the method. So what are you sending? Of course, we are sending the request that we built earlier. Okay, so basically that's how to build your response. Okay, so and now we just want to put the if statement. Okay, our if statement. So if the response that we get, which we have built with res, okay, the status code of it, which is a get status code, that is the method that we use in Salesforce, get status code. Okay, if that method, if the response that we get, okay, is strictly equals to 200, which means if the code is okay, then let us actually build a map. Let us put all these things within a map. Okay, so you can build a map saying map string jet. Okay, you can say response map and call the response map. Okay, it's going to be equals to that we built earlier. So we can serialize it here and say JSON, to serialize it to object. Okay. We want to serialize this string to object now. Can say deserialize type on type. Deserialize on type. Okay. Deserialize on type into rest. Get button. Okay. So if we are able to do that, then they are going to give us the response. The response we are getting now from Square. Now going to be in string. Okay, so we can call it access token. Because we are going to be getting to respond, and you are going to see it in action very soon. Okay, be a string. Then the response map that we built, we dot get the access token. They are going to send to us, and this is the way the API for their access token name is according to the documentation. Okay, all right. So the same thing for the refresh token. We're going to get in both the access token and the refresh token. We're going to be getting both the access token and the refresh token. The things we are going to be getting. All right, so we can actually call this refresh token. We can call this refresh token, and the refresh token API from Square will be refresh token. Okay, so that's what we are going to be getting from Square. So we can return saying the access token we are expecting is the access token us. We are also expecting the refresh token. We can use backspace to actually escape. Okay, refresh token. We are expecting the refresh token that we are expecting is the refresh token. So it's here. Okay. So all right, so I must have done that. Then we go and build our helper that we are actually been using from here. Okay, we have not built it. So I'm going to build our helper. So you can say private static. It does not return anything. What's the name of our config? Is the name. Okay, that's the name. All right. Our config name is that. Then we built a method for it, which says get config, right? With a method to get config. All right. All right, so you can say you can return. Okay, so it's a static, it's not a void, so it's going to return. Sorry for that. It's going to actually return. Okay, so we can say it it's okay here. Let's say select what are the fields we are looking at. We are looking at client ID, select client ID plus the client secrets. You can actually use our, I think we should do the best practice. Say, so we use best practice. So we want client ID, we want client secrets. What do we want again? We want the redirect URL. So this is faster for us. And then of course we want the token endpoint. For the token endpoint, you can then just copy everything here. Okay. All right. That's easier for us using the Salesforce inspector. All right. So we can say now, where do we want it? We want it from the Square config MDT, where I always love to write it the way we expect to write it. Okay. So where the developer name is the API. Developer name is equals to what's the developer name for our MDT that we built earlier? It's called Square Defaults. Where is it? Open it earlier. Yep. You see, here's the name. Square Defaults. Okay. I mean, we want to actually we want it to be limited to one. So you can put limit one. Controller is ready right now. So what we need to do is first now go and build our Visualforce page. The Visualforce page, we have already named our Visualforce page and we must actually follow the name that we have given onto it. We go back to this. You see that the Visual page that we have actually named, though we have not built it, is Square OAuth callback page. So you can go back here and give it the same name so that you won't have issues when you're trying to authenticate. All right. So that's our Visualforce page. So from here now, you can actually pass the controller parameter. Say controller. Okay. All right. So it's going to be Square Auth controller. So the controller that we are actually looking at is Square Auth controller, which is this. That be the controller that we are actually looking at. So you can just build a small uh, H2 into it. H2 can just say, when you're H2, you can just say and name square or the callback, something. And so that's what you're actually doing. All right, and of course, you have to close your H2. Okay, now that your H2 actually been closed, you have to put the pre. Okay, the pre will be inside your pre. You can actually pass ID, which will be equals to which will be equals to the result box. Okay, and then the result box will be what we want to say is, oh, we are actually processing. So we are processing the that's what you are going to get. You're actually processing this. Okay, so let us try and write our script now. Okay, so let's write our script. Why it is not actually showing? Let's copy this. So now inside our script, you can just put a function there, say function. Okay, get query parameter. So it's going to be param. Okay, see param as argument. Okay, so after we must have done that, let's create a const URL. Is going to be equal to new URL search variables. Okay, in window dot location dot search. Right, so as a const, and then just return URL params that we just built right now. Dot get param that we put here for okay. So when it is now loaded, you can use the method window unload. This loaded, it should be actually be equals to function. Okay, with another const. Let us call it auth code. code equals get query param. We did it. Get query param. The code that is coming in. Okay, for the code that is coming in, and then let us create another const result box as we put here. Result box equals to documents dot get element by ID, which is a popular, very popular method in JavaScript. Get element by ID, the result box. Okay, the result box. Let's put a null check. So if the auth code that we get, if it is not empty, then let us get the inner text. Let's get the inner text of the result box. Okay, get the inner text of result box. This is going to tell us that if the auth code is empty, if it is empty, it's going to tell us and say that, oh, no authorization code found on the URL, no auth code found on the URL. Okay, no auth code found on the URL. Okay, that's the message that you are going to get if the auth code is actually empty. Then afterward, you can actually return nothing. Okay, can return nothing again. However, after this, I'll continue. I'm saying that with the Visualforce, okay, dot remoting manager, remoting manager dot invoke action. Invoke action of what you actually built, which is the remote action as we built it here. Remote action. Okay, remote action dot what is the name of our controller? Square OAuth controller. Okay, dot we built a method here that says do auth callback. Okay, that's our method. that we built inside our Apex class. Okay, hope that is understood. Then those code I built earlier. This particular auth code here. Okay, then function. Let's get the result now. Results, the event. This will be the event. Okay. All right. So uh, if if the event status, the status result box that we bit earlier, dot the inner text, the result box that we bit earlier here. I always love to copy and paste any variable that we use so that we will not have issues when we are testing. Okay. If the inner text of that result box that we built earlier is equals to the results, if it is equals to the results, okay, that's when this will actually show up. Of course, else to the result box in a test saying that there is actually error there. So the result box in a test, the message should come with error OAuth, error in OAuth callback processing. So if there is any issue, come with that message. Okay, so that's the message we are going to get if there is any issue. Let's try and save this. Let's see if we have any error. No errors. Let's go back here and save and see if our error will disappear. Saving now. Our error has now actually disappeared. So let us now go and test what we have built. Let us see if we are going to be getting our let us see if we are going to be getting the oath according to what we built here. If it's going to be visible in our Visualforce page that we actually built. All right, so let's go back to the way to test it. I put the client ID. According to the documentation, you are going to need a client ID. You have put in the parameter. Okay, this param, I put it there. Okay, and then of course our redirect URL is already there, and of course the response type that we expected. Okay, what the response that we expected is actually code that we expected. Okay, so what are the scope in this is talking about the permission. What are the permissions that you want to actually give onto this particular on this particular tool that you are trying to integrate with us. That's what Square is saying. Okay, so I want to actually give the permission to be able to write on the customer, to read the customer, that is to be able to make it visible, and then to write on payment as well, and to actually read on payment as well. So that are the things I want to do. So what I can do is I can actually just copy this URL and create another tab, then paste it here and click enter. So, all right, so it means that it's working right now on the Square side. It means that everything that we are supposed to actually put in the URL, we have already put it there. So that's why it's bringing this page. It's saying that, oh, there is a particular tool that is coming, okay, that is called Salesforce One. I mean, there is a particular tool that is coming, okay, in your app. Your app is called Salesforce One that you built in your Square, okay, and then Salesforce One, the app now wants to access your Square account. You want to access your Square account, okay? So should you give it the permission? It says that it's going to be allowed to modify customer information, view customer information, take payments and make refunds, and then view your payment history. I will say allow. I'll say allow. So it's saying processing what we built in our what do we call it? Our Visualforce page. That's what we built there and saying. So basically, can you see now that we now have our access token and we now have our refresh token. So this is the end of this video of today. I'll be taking the second part of it where we can actually be able to save our access token and our refresh token. So I'll stick around as we look at the second video of this particular series of integrating Salesforce with Square together. Thank you so much for watching today. Bye for now.